tree with these guys, and already you can see such a big change in their behaviour. Even the fact that I'm here in the pen with them, like all three of those boys, you can see how much more settled they are than the first day. These ones I haven't worked with so much. They're the older of the stallions. I've worked with the younger ones quite a bit. But you can just see they're more settled. They've had food, they've had water. Their bellies aren't as tucked up. You can see their bellies are a bit more full. They're a bit more comfortable. And it's just really lovely to see these changes. These are some of the biggest wild horses I've ever worked with. And I think a really important thing to note is I've been working with these horses for 12 years now. And I think a huge testament to the management program with the Kaimana heritage horses, with Doc, with all the parties involved, is that these horses are coming out of muster better. The first ones I got, they were skin and bone. It looked like the wind would blow them over. They were riddled with worms. You'd give them their first worming pace and they'd get sick, they'd get colic because they were just passing so much worms. They looked a bit, they're a bit stunted. Like one of the first stallions I got, he looked about this wide in the chest. And they were a lot smaller. And you can just see these guys are big horses. These are the biggest wild horses I've ever worked with. And I think that is because there's less numbers on the ranges now. The horses have a chance to have more space. They're growing. They have better access to resources because there is more space. There's less population pressure. And so these colts with every generation are just getting bigger and bigger until we have ones like this. And they're coming out in good condition, like they're not skinny. They've got, maybe the one at the front's a little bit, he could have some more weight on, but the other two, fantastic condition. And I think it's a real testament and a real argument for having a muster program that doesn't let so many horses stay in the wild. Over these 3 days, you kind of get to work a little bit with these horses, and I always kind of work them quietly the first day, get them used to like moving through the yards, help them understand some basic aids. But you kind of get a sense of their personality, and these are the three biggest boys. And we've got this chestnut here, and he's quite quiet. He doesn't cause any fuss. He's not the leader of the pack. He's the one who'll go looking for the food first, but he's just generally like a no fuss, chill fellow. He's quite cool to work with. You can get quite close to him, but he's not super curious. Like he'll do this. He kind of comes near you, but he's not brave enough to really look at you. And then there's this one over here, and what I think is really cool is that there's this Kaimana database now where if they're photographed in the wild, they'll be giving a number and a name, and his name in the wild is Best Friend, and he comes from a band whose stallion was Old Friend, and I just think that's really cool to have a stallion turn up who's already called Best Friend, because I always like to think after a bit of training, after a bit they've been through the masterclass program, that they're kind of your mates, they're your partners, they're your best friends. So it seems really cool that Best Friend is here, and he's also one of the ones that was assigned to me as a sponsored horse, so he'll be staying for a while, which is really exciting, whereas lots of the others, I'm just handling them for their owners and for other people. So we've got No Name here, Chestnut, we've got Best Friend at the back, and then in the middle, I'm going to see if I can just move him, we've called him Pac-Man, and I'll see if I can show you why. We'll just move just a little bit. Hey guys, but even here you can see how much calmer they are to be around. Just want to see if you can see, okay, so see him who's looking at us in the middle? Look at his head. Does that not look like a Pac-Man to you? It looks exactly like the little game character Pac-Man, so that's Pac-Man. And funny, in the herd, he's actually quite shy. He always kind of hides amongst them. You'll see now he's gone to hide behind Best Friend. I just love Best Friend's expression. He's just such a beautiful horse. He's stunning. But see, Pac-Man has gone to hide behind Best Friend. But when you actually work with Pac-Man, he is super intense, super intelligent. He gives you all the right answers. He's really engaged in the lesson. He's just awesome to work with. But he's actually quite shy when he's out here with these guys. And if you just worked him in the pen, you'd think he'd kind of be the bossiest and the bolshiest, but he's shy with these guys, but one of the coolest ones to work with in the pen. He's just really intelligent. I did say that I thought Pac-Man had a head like a sledgehammer. It's built for breaking down walls, but looks aren't everything. He's super intelligent and has the most awesome nature to work with. About the only two that have names is Pac-Man and Best Friend, those two at the back. The little Chestnut doesn't have a name. But interestingly, I had his father last year from muster. His father was Cinder, so he originally came from the fire band, so maybe he needs like a fire themed name. And then, hey guys, they're so chilled now, it's really nice to see. Just open the gate, we'll see if we can sneak through. And then we have this little girl here, and she is full sister to best friend. And she's just a yearling. She's a real cute little thing. She's had a couple of sessions now. Like now you can rub her all over with the stick. She's really made super progress. She's still a little bit shy, but she's a very intense horse to work with. Like when you step in the pen with her, she gives you her full attention and is super focused. And then behind her, we have another big brown stallion, and I'm actually going to work him with Thor a little bit later. But he's a really cool, really nice type, but quite staunch. I think if he was one of the first stallions you ever work with, he'd be quite intimidating. He doesn't mean to be, but he kind of puffs up and doesn't move away from you very well. He's almost a bit staunch and puffs himself up like a puffer fish, but he doesn't mean anything by it. But if it was the first one that you worked with, I think he'd be quite a scary one if you didn't know how to read a horse properly. Like for me, I know how to work around him, I know how to get the best out of him and make him calm, but he would be quite intimidating, I think, maybe for a novice with no skills. And then way at the very back is one more little colt who's just as sweet as can be. I can already rub him all over. He's kind of gone through our masterclass program. You can rub him on both sides of the neck, up and down his back, and he's just like the sweetest, cuddliest little wild horse ever. So there's 6 really different personalities. We need names for all of them. Love any name suggestions in the comments if you're watching this video. If you can think of some really cool wild horse names, let us know. I am not good at naming horses, so I am open to suggestions here. But yeah, some really cool horses, some really big horses in this bunch. So this is going to be an exciting few weeks.